this year.
First pitch swinging, line drive, he's done it. John Means has no-hit the Mariners. They go! Brown fakes, dishes, Kyrie going for the 50-piece. Irving has 50!
Pressure from the Steelers. Mayfield in trouble, and he's going to be taken down. Who else but T.J. Watt?
First downs on this drive. Heineke end zone, McLaurin touchdown.
Torres drives that ball center field, hit deep, going back near the wall. Wilkerson maybe, nope, goodbye home run. Get him out of there. Don't throw to him.
I never seen anything like
Put
it.
up four fingers.
I've never seen anything like it.
He is just tearing the Orioles apart.
Jonathan Taylor, goodbye, touchdown, Indy, as he crossed the tape at the goal line. 78 yards.
And here we go.
Okay, we're back. So we third time trying to start this podcast. We're doing some baseball. It's been a while. We took the summer off. We look at MLB Network now. So that's the recap of our lives so far in the past 2 months. I don't feel like doing the intro all over again. So let's talk about them Yankees. They walked it off against the Astros last night. They're unstoppable. They're very, very good at baseball this year. Bologna says I live in the past because I'm bringing up how this team's different. And here we are now. The Yankees, like Bologna was saying before, shit hit the fan, is that they're firing all cylinders. Really, there's all good aspects of this team, and really it's kind of hard to find a major issue with it.
All right. Yes. Definitely agree with what you said, Justin. This Yankee team does feel different. And what's kind of crazy is they didn't really add like a major piece. You have guys that you didn't expect to produce in big spots and get the fan base fired up. I mean, Jose Trevino is a fan favorite. Matt Carpenter comes in and hits 7 home runs out of his first 8 hits as a Yankee. I mean, the moves that the Yankees have made, most of them have paid off. Really, the only blemish that you see is Joey Gallo, and that's only his hitting. His defense is still Gold Glove worthy. But again, that's just nitpicking. It's very hard to nitpick this team. The starting pitching, some may say, has been a lot better than expected. I mean, you see Jamison Tyone last night gets blown up. So, if you're the Yankees, I still don't rule out. Oh, let me say this first. This is the year. This is the year to go for it. If you lose this year, most likely Judge leaves. More than likely, that's what's going to happen, barring some miracle. You have good prospects, very close on the way up. So go for it. Trade deadline. If you really want to really go for it, go for Frankie Montas. Go for Luis Castillo. Mets, Dodgers, Astros, they're all going to be gunning for these guys. So you got to set yourself apart and go for them as well. Get some bullpen help. Bench bats are honestly pretty good. You don't really need them. But if you're the Yankees, I mean, there's no more excuses. Just go for it.
It's almost Cashman finally has to rip the Band-Aid off and really sell some high-tier prospects if he wants to get it done. Because we've seen in previous years, he holds on to his chips and doesn't really sell high. Like, what they got for Gallo was next to nothing. What they got for, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Jose Trevino as a whole didn't really give up much. They just had to eat a lot of Josh Donaldson's salary. And Trevino, didn't they send Abreu and they got him back on waivers? Anyway.
Yeah,
so it's like, those were low risk, high reward potential moves. But at this point, like you said, go get a Montas, trade some prospects at this point, because you don't want to end up like the Nationals and Bryce Harper, how he just left them. But, obviously the next year they won the World Series, but that changed everything. But like you said with Judge, it's like, he's just hitting home runs every other day. He's going to win AL MVP at this rate. And it's like, he's going to want 35 to 40 million. And I don't know if they're going to pony it up. If they do, great. But then at that point, you're going to have to sacrifice somewhere else for somebody, because they haven't really wanted to go over the luxury tax this entire time, this whole team. Right. So like you said, Bloya, they have to get it done this year. They got to get to the World Series. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And, you look at the past few World Series winners. I mean, 2016 with the Cubs, they're in a rebuild mode. 2019 with the Nats, they're in a hard rebuild mode now. So if you're the Yankees, you've been chasing this since 2009. You have to get your ring. And if you get it and Judge leaves, okay, you know what? He did it. He got us a ring and he's going to chase his money.
Well, that's like
now
Rendon,
we can bring up some good prospects. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So,
like the way people look, like the national fans look at Harper versus Rendon, both of them left, but Rendon got in the ring. You know, that could at least be the thing with Judge, because if he leaves, Yankee fans are going to be pissed that, oh, why did the Yankees pay him if they don't win a World Series? But if he wins a World Series and leaves, all is kind of forgiven at that point. Steve, your take.
No, I agree with everything said for the most part. I just don't think, I know we talked about it with the NBA podcast, a couple podcasts ago, not even, anything recent, but it's hard to put on a team that they have to win the championship. And I'm not going to put that on the Yankees as well, but like we said before, all of our technical difficulties, they, I think, at least have to get to the World Series for this to be considered a successful season. Because, just making the wild card or the DS or the CS, it's not enough. The team's been there before.
Well, that's the thing.
In these rounds, it's not enough. But
Since,
getting to the dance is a successful season.
Well, that's the thing. Because it was 2017 when they lost the Astros in Game 7 of the ALCS.
yeah.
Right? Each year, they've almost progressively gone back each year in playoffs, right? And we'll all agree, this team is the best team since 2017 that they've put on the field that is producing, right? That's why the expectations should be as high as they are to at least get there, because this is the best team, probably the best team in baseball, best team in AL by far. There's no excuses at that point. If they don't get past, you assume at this rate they are not playing the wild card game. If they play in the wild card game, something went catastrophically wrong.
That means they're not a 1 or 2 because of the way the playoff.
That means something just went catastrophically wrong as a whole, right? So they don't have to worry about the 1-game playoff. But if they lose in the divisional round at that point, what can you say about this team at this point? Then they just mentally can't get over the hump.
Yeah, no, I agree. And most likely you're looking at the ALCS matchup right now. I mean, let's be honest. It's going to be them and the Astros.
I agree.
The Rays are a shell of themselves. The Blue Jays are very overhyped. What we thought. Listen, I'll admit, we all thought coming into the year that it was going to be a bad year for the Yankees, a 4th place finish, and we were wrong.
Well, that's because the Donaldson move, the IKF move, the Trevino move. On paper, they weren't the sexy moves that they were. That they're turning out to be now. Connor Falefa, some fans hate him, some fans like him, but the best one has been Trevino at this point.
Yeah,
he's been a godsend for the Yankees. He's offensively producing, hell of a defensive catcher. He should be the everyday catcher, catching at least 5 out of 7 days a week at that point. And that's been the biggest hole for the Yankees for a long time with Gary, was either he was good offensively or crap defensively, or neither at that point, and it was just a shell of himself in whatever hole he was batting. Trevino has probably been the best piece for the team. He'll be an all-star. He's probably going to be the AL all-star catcher.
Probably.
Yeah, and I think, just quickly on this, Yankees trade deadline stuff, unless Aaron Hicks really picks it up, which he's probably not going to, look for a guy like Andrew Benintendi. Maybe you stick him in right, or Gallo in right, and
Definitely.
Judge in center. Another reliever would be good. I saw Clark Schmidt got sent down. Robertson, maybe from the Cubs, is an option. But again, these are guys that all the contenders are going to be going after.
Yep.
So like you said, Justin, will Cashman pony up and say, let me give one of the top 3 shortstops? Honestly, Volpe, Waldichuk, and Dominguez should be your only untouchable 3. Everyone else, as sad as it is, the ring means more. So hopefully the Yankees realize this. I really want to say it's a guarantee they win the division, but we've seen crazier stuff. Like last year after the All-Star break when the Red Sox blew a 10-game lead.
Yeah. But
in the division.
They're 12.5 in front of the Blue Jays at that point, right? 13 in front of the Red Sox and 14.5 in front of the Rays and 20.5 in front of Baltimore. Like you said, they just have to play. They're in a similar boat of the Mets at this point. Just kind of tread water and just don't beat yourself at that point. Just play baseball and win 2 out of 3, 2 out of 4 from series. Try not to get swept, and they'll be fine. And then at that point, just focus on keeping people healthy and getting to the postseason.
If they have over a 10-game lead in front of the second place team by like mid to late August, I'd feel good about that.
Yeah, exactly. And Toronto, if we're being honest, are the only real threat. We'll get into some of the divisions later on, how we feel about them, but it's going to be a 2-horse race out of the East right now. So let's flip things over to the NL East and go take the 7 line out to the Queens.
Hell yeah.
The Queens. And the New York Mets sitting on top of the East for the first time in a long, long time. They haven't had their June collapse that we've been accustomed to for a good, 17 years at this point.
60 years.
Basically. And 45-26, sitting pretty, 4 games in front of the Braves, 8 in front of the Phillies, and so yada, yada, yada. But the Mets are a little banged up, and that has been the biggest question mark because Stevie Cohen went out. Obviously, we know the big moves he brought in. And for the most part, they're working out. But the biggest issue is the starting rotation now is they're dropping like flies at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they got through the rough part with the starting rotation already. I mean, we're recording this on Friday, June 24th, and Scherzer's supposed to be coming back Sunday, so that's already
great.
He was a rumble pony.
Taken care of. Well, he's a rumble pony. He didn't like being a rumble pony.
A
rumble pony is a horse on a carousel. Found that out.
Oh, nice.
By the way.
They didn't throw him against the whoever the Cardinals.
St. Louis one. Yeah, that Twitter is great. Jake's supposed to be coming around, right before around All-Star, so that's right around the corner. I feel like they got through the hard part of the season, and it just happened to be in June, like always. Again,
they weathered the storm of not having McGill, Max, and DeGrom. Well, they're still not comfortable, but they have a decent lead over the Braves at least. And for a while, it was a bigger lead. The Braves finally figured their stuff out as well and kind of went on a little bit of a run. But like you said, I think they weathered the storm for the most part.
Yeah, definitely weathered it. And it's just, will they stay in first place this whole time to the end of the season? Probably not. I mean, the Braves have been really, really good team recently, but just staying consistent, winning every month is big. Being above 500 every month. I think they're on pace to do it again this month, which is great. Even though this is probably the worst month of the season, but just playing. They're not the Yankees. They're not hitting these massive home runs every game and everything like that. They're playing small ball and they're winning the old school way. And as long as you, and as long as you get and a +1 in the W column at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you win these games.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with the small ball approach. I'm not worried about the exit velo and all these nerd stat stuff that people on Twitter are complaining about. If they're winning the game, what's there to complain if they're not hitting 3 home runs a game or whatever?
And I think the only things really that we can kind of nitpick a little bit for the Mets, catcher and third base with Escobar at that point, because he's been underwhelming, and the 3 catchers that they've been rolling out of Nito, Mazika, and McCann here and there, offensively there's a lot to be desired, right? So that raises the question: when do you bring up Francisco Alvarez? Because he's been killing AA, so you got to assume maybe by July sometime he's in AAA. Say he keeps that pace up. Do you bring up a 20-year-old, 21-year-old at that point and put him right into a high pressure situation where he's going to have to produce? Because we've seen the rookie class. We'll get into them a little bit too. Adley, Bobby Witt, Torkelson, Riley Green, Julio Rodriguez. They all started out slow. Is there room for that necessarily in New York with Alvarez at that point?
No, because the earliest he could be called up is probably a September call-up, I would say, and, be ready for postseason. And you don't want this kid's first lick of the majors being, an important wild card game, possibly, who the Mets haven't had a playoff game since 2016. So you don't want to ruin the kid that way. I don't care if he's hitting 400 in AAA when he gets called up there. I think you wait till the start of the next year, no matter what.
And I think at that point, the number 1 name on the market then is Wilson Contreras from the Cubs.
100%. And I think that move needs to be made. I mean, McCann's a great defensive catcher. Nito and Mazika are very similar, that they don't do anything.
Yeah.
They've hit bombs when we're in attendance.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But in third base, I'm still willing to give Escobar some time. He's a talented player, he's a great defender. Just the bat's not hitting the ball recently, and obviously that's one half of the game, one half defense, one half offense. So you he has to step that up, but they always have Guillorme who can play third, who's been on a roll this season. McNeil can move over to third if need be, if they want to bench Escobar, but I don't think they're going to address third base by the trade deadline.
I don't know who's out there.
That's the thing. Yeah,
exactly.
I think
if it was the Bryant year again, I think they go 100% at Bryant and move him back to third instead of the outfield or wherever the hell he's playing in Colorado. But I think it's more of a relief pitching hasn't been bad either. It's just needs
Never,
a couple.
you can never have enough pitching in the postseason.
Exactly. So just maybe one arm, two arms, and a catcher. I'll be happy by the trade deadline with that. Very happy.
Here's my thing. Mets are great, dangerous team. They're like the Yankees, how they could be down 3 in the 9th and they'll come back and tie it or win it.
Yep.
When it comes, so obviously we haven't seen Jake yet this year. Probably going to be awesome when he comes back. Max was good until he got hurt. My thing is when you get into postseason, 7-game series, and it's, Jake and Max 1 and 2. And then it's like, okay, McGill's he was good at the start of the year, but he's also Tyler McGill starting game 3 of a playoff game. Bassett is good, but can get blown up. And Carrasco has just not been there. He hasn't been in.
Well, I think what you do is you have, obviously, like you said, your 1 and 2, DeGrom, Scherzer. I think your 3 is Bassett at that point. Your 4 is Walker, Taijuan Walker, who's had a pretty decent season again, just like last year, a good start to the season. And then honestly, by all the rest you get in the playoffs, that's kind of all you need. And you can have either Cookie or you could have Tyler in the bullpen. You have like a long stretch. I mean, you don't need a full 5 or 6 man rotation in the playoffs. Just that's how the things work with everything.
I think you need a better 3.
I'm confident. I think we need a better 4. I think Bassett's fine at the 3. I think, or Bassett can move to the 4 and a 3, a new 3, like you said. Like we were just talking about Montes or what's his face on Cincinnati. I don't know.
Luis Castillo.
Castillo. So I think one of those two, if one goes to the Yankees, one goes to the Mets, I think we'll be both very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know who would be a good pickup for the Mets, thinking about it now? Brandon Drury.
Yeah.
He's been playing great. Good utility guy.
Didn't they have him already?
They had him last year.
Him. Oh my god!
Yeah,
he's been the best player for the Reds. Which, sweet Jesus, that's their best player.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be close to a reunion, but yeah, man.
All right, so that wraps up our little neck of the woods of baseball. So I want to get into the MVP races so far, right?
Oh, baby. Yeah.
So I have it when we did our predictions way back when. Never made a thing for it, never published it, but I have the text still.
Oof.
AL MVP, me and Clark said Vladdy. Bologna said Judge.
All right. Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now in the AL race. How are we feeling differently about it? Because I think me and Clark are definitely a little different.
I'm feeling all right.
I'm on the Judge train and I'm on the Yordan Alvarez train right now.
I think I think the 4 favorites, the 4 best options are Alvarez, who's great, Jose Ramirez, who's fantastic, Shohei Ohtani with what he's doing now. We'll always put his name in it now. He's getting to Mike Trout territory, Mike Trout even. But I think right now it's going to be Aaron Judge at the kind of like where we're, kind of.
If the season ended right now, if
it's going to have to be Judge.
Knock on wood, he doesn't get injured. Knock on wood, nothing bad happens that way. But if he keeps up to this pace, and even if he's even a little under this pace, because it's hard to keep up this pace that he's at right now.
And that's been Judge's thing, is staying healthy. If we get a full healthy season of Aaron Judge, he could very well hit 60 home runs, which we haven't seen in our life, really, other than Bonds, but we were like 6 when that happened, or whatever it was. So NL MVP, Clark said Acuna, I said Soto, and Bologna said Soto.
I'm feeling different. I'm feeling different about that one.
Where are you guys reevaluating? Where are you feeling about that one? I think it was going to be Manny Machado till he sprained his ankle. So until he comes
Machado's
back,
out of the race. Yeah, he's out of the race for me currently.
Goldschmidt,
Alonso. Goldschmidt, Alonso. If we're being honest, they're both 2 first basemen having great seasons. I mean, Goldschmidt, Alonso. I mean, Arenado was in the running in the beginning. You can't really count him out yet either. Harper, if he stays healthy, he's been on and off, with his whole injuries. I'd
say Goldschmidt right now.
I think it's going to be Goldie as well. So
I'll stick with my boy Big Meat Pete.
So Cy Young awards in the AL.
This is bad. I already know mine's bad.
Bologna said Garrett Cole. Okay.
Chance.
Team,
I said Verlander.
He's good.
I'll that's a very good one.
Clark said Sale, who I don't think pitched at all really this season so far.
Oh gosh.
Nope.
So AL Cy Young, I think Garrett Cole, Verlander are definitely, and Ohtani at this point too, I think are pretty the front runners right now.
Nasty Nestor.
Yeah,
baby.
He's fallen off a little bit.
I mean, he got blown up the other day, but
past 2 starts.
yeah. But I like Verlander. Verlander's that was a good pick from the start.
So in the NL, you two both said Scherzer, and I also said Scherzer.
Alcantara. It's got to be Alcantara.
He's been fantastic for the Marlins.
Insane. Yeah.
Musgrove's another one. Yeah.
It's been a weird year in the NL. Corbin Burns is always going to be. Honestly, what about Josh Hader? Say he saves 50 games and has a sub
Clay
1 ERA.
Holmes. Clay Holmes.
No, I agree. He's in the AL, but
no, but
on the AL side.
Really, yeah.
Yes. I think realistically, Hader could be in the running for it. And we haven't seen a reliever really win it since Eric Gagne way back when. Should have been Zach Britton when he had 55 saves and a sub 1 ERA, but he stayed in the bullpen during a postseason game. So AL Rookie of the Year. I said Julio Rodriguez, Bologna said Adley, and Clark said Torkelson. This kind of goes into the whole
J-Rod.
Yeah.
But see, this is where I want to get into the whole rookie class, right? As a whole, they kind of been underwhelming to start. Adley's starting to hit he's starting to hit
a homer last night, baby.
Yes, he did. It was a bomb. Rodriguez is finding his groove again, which is nice. Bobby Witt still slow, and Torkelson is still very, very slow. We kind of put the pressure on them to call prospects up out of the gate. Those 3 obviously cracked their roster. Adley was hurt, so he debuted a little bit later where he was on pace to start. Were they almost called a little up too quick?
I don't know. I don't know about too quick. I feel like we're just expecting so much out of these prospects recently. Just give them time. They're not going to be the next, Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso hitting all these bombs when they step up to the plate their first time.
And that's the thing. Not everyone.
Give them time.
That's the thing. Not everyone has to come up and be an AL MVP candidate, NL MVP candidate right when they debut. It's baseball. It takes time to develop. So on the NL side, you're saying Bologna? I'm sorry.
No, I think, like Torkelson and Adley, they went to college. They played years of college ball.
Yeah.
I think they have more development. Whereas like Bobby Witt, right out of high school, only like 2 years in the minors. It's kind
Julio
of
Rodriguez, equivalent of a high school coming out of,
Yeah.
I think he's from the Dominican, I think. I'm not sure. So on the NL side of things, Clark said O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, I'll give Clark credit for that one.
Bologna said Seiya Suzuki, and I also said O'Neal Cruz. So Cruz has now become the new.
You said O'Neal Cruz too?
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
I did.
I honestly don't remember. I remember Clark saying O'Neal Cruz. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember Justin saying O'Neal Cruz either.
So the thing with Cruz, Bologna and I were talking, right? He's this year's Tatis, where it seems like anything he does in the field is going to be posted everywhere, which is great. That's what baseball has to do. You have to market their stars. But, people are starting to criticize him for, he's 6'7", move him to corner infield, corner outfield at that point, right? Bologna, you made a good point. Keep him at shortstop till he can't make the plays anymore.
Yeah, he's certainly making them, like no problem. Had another nice diving grab yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So those were kind of where we are, and that's our reevaluation of it all. So Shohei Ohtani, right? He's continuously doing things we have never seen. He had 8 RBIs one game, flipped it around the next day, and struck out 13 batters, right? First player to ever do that, which, you're at that point, they're also making up stats, I think, if you're going that deep into research, but that's here nor there. What in the hell is his future contract going to look like? He hits the market after next season. He's an ace pitcher and a 3 to 5 hitter in your lineup that can give you 30 home runs. How do you even equate that and come up with a number? Honestly.
It's
how old is he?
He's 27. He'll hit the market at 28.
So the 10-year deal's in range.
Yeah.
Obviously at the back end of that, probably not going to be pitching as much. Well, that's the thing. Do you pay him as a pitcher or you pay him as a hitter?
I would take.
I think you have to pay him as both. combined.
Yeah, you would almost have
You
to
have to give him that big of a contract.
You'd have to
Kinda
average out the top hitter contracts of, say, top 5 hitters, take top 5 pitchers, combine that, and then average that out. And I think that's almost what he's worth.
So I'm just going to throw a number out there. Let me know if I'm too high or too low. 10 for 380.
That's 38 a year. I think he's at least 40.
Fair.
I think he's 40 to 45 range. But at that point, say, oof.
Sorry.
But at that point, Juan Soto will probably be a plus 40 million player. Aaron Judge could very well be a plus 40 million player. They don't pitch. At that point,
exactly.
They don't pitch.
Exactly.
Does Ohtani then get, say, 3 to 5 mil on top of whatever they get? Like, say Judge is 40, say Soto's 45. Does Ohtani get 45 to 50? 10 for half a billion?
I think he has to. Personally, I'm not, I don't run the teams. I don't,
it's not your money.
It's not my money. So that's why I hate when people complain about big contracts. It's not your money. Just no. Especially baseball, but when there's no real set cap, come on.
Like if it inhibits your team from making other moves, sure, then you can hate the money that was given out. But if you give a player 40 million and they produce, who the hell cares? Look at the Rangers when they signed Alex Rodriguez. He won 2-3 MVPs with them. He lives up to that deal. Bryce Harper at this rate's living up to his end of the bargain for the Phillies. He's on pace. He could win another MVP or 2 with them at that point. It's just the rest of the team sucks.
There you go.
And it's like, are the Angels really going to pony up 30 million for Rendon, 40 million for Trout, and then 40 to 50 million for Ohtani? How do you pay $200 million practically for 3 players, or $180 million for 3 players? That's absurd.
That's fair. I'm trying to look up on Spotrac because Spotrac usually has the projected contracts.
I don't even know how to start projecting.
Yeah, I mean,
because you got to assume if you sign him to that deal, if you can get top level pitching from him, say it's a 10-year deal, if you can get top tier pitching till he's say 35, so 7 years out of 10, that's worth it because you can still get him for another 3 as a hitter.
Yeah.
And especially now that they made the Shohei Ohtani rule where he can stay in and DH when they pull him as a pitcher, you really get your bang for your buck then at that point.
Definitely. No, I agree. All I know is that contract's going to be beefy, and I don't know if the Angels are going to be the one to pay it. I really don't.
They're already paying another big contract.
2.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
But the man whose signature is on a lot of those contracts is chilling in NY right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Who?
Yeah. Who?
The Epler, baby.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, you never know.
Let's touch on a few of the division races real quick. So AL East, we hit on it before. We can all agree it's going to be the Yankees division, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. AL Central. This is a really, really weird division. I don't need to go back and look at our numbers because I think I might have deleted it. But I think at the time we all agreed on the White Sox winning, right? Well, that is completely different as the Cleveland Guardians, the little engine that could, are sitting on top of the division, as well as the Minnesota Twins, who are playing much better. And the White Sox are 2 games under 500 and are much more mediocre than we thought they were going to be.
I think it's the Twins. I think the Twins win the division.
I'm also going to go with the Twins in this one.
Yeah, reevaluating. You know what? I'm going to go with the Guardians as of reevaluating. I think they hold on to it. Jose Ramirez, like we said, playing like an MVP, and there's just something I like about him. So I'm gonna stick with them. Why did I just open my Sunday ticket by mistake? Whatever. So AL West. You got the Astros up by practically 10 games on the Angels, the Rangers, 12 on the Mariners, and then 21 on the A's. It's going to be the Astros. They are not slowing down, and they are fantastic. You agree, Clark?
100%. I agree. Astros, 100%. It's just no team is a true threat. I was thinking the Angels until they went on their slump, and then that's the Angels always do. So Astros for me, definitely.
So NL East, you got the Mets 4 games ahead of the Braves, 8 games ahead of the Phillies, and so on and so on. I think the Mets hang on for the East as well.
Mets as well for me.
I think the Mets too. It will close. It will get, probably a 1 or 2 game lead for the Mets. And like I said earlier, they might even lose the lead at one point. But I think Mets finally finish with it.
And then a little more interesting race. You have the NL Central of the Cardinals, the Brewers, and then everybody else. They're tied, and then they're all 10 games ahead or so of the Pirates in third. Brewers or Cardinals? Who do you like down the stretch?
Cardinals.
I like the Cardinals, especially if Goldschmidt keeps it up. If Arenado is keeping on the same level. They have a great young outfield. I like the Cardinals a lot.
They'll make
and they were my World Series pick.
And they'll make moves.
They'll get it. They need a pitcher.
They're always they're the Spurs, right? Up until recently, they were the Spurs for 20 plus years, just consistently winning, boring brand of baseball, but they win and they make the playoffs. And that's all they do. And I think that's what they do, because I think the Brewers offense will fall flat eventually. And finally, NL West, Dodgers, Padres, Giants are all relatively close. And then you got the Diamondbacks and Rockies. The Dodgers kind of hit a skid a little bit, and the Padres caught up a little bit, but now the Padres are without Machado for some time, and the Giants are just kind of hanging out at that point. Who do you guys like? Still the Dodgers, or are we feeling somebody else?
How much are the Padres down by?
1 game.
I'll make it fun. I'll say Padres.
I hate to agree, but I want to be different, but I'm thinking a healthy Tatis coming back, healthy Machado coming back. Dodgers still going to make the playoffs, obviously, but they might even make a run for the championship, but Padres are going to win the division.
I'm going to stick with the Dodgers until I see another team take them over, like the Giants, but we're starting to slowly see last year was a little bit of fool's gold. I think the Dodgers hang on to that division as well. So real quick, before we wrap things up, what one team is overhyped to you, and what one team is underhyped? Who's not getting enough coverage? Who's being slept on?
I'll go the slept on one first. Low key, low, very, 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 very low key. The Pittsburgh Pirates got low key a young team right there. I like what they've been doing. Like we talked about O'Neal Cruz earlier with the Rookie of the Year. As soon as he came up, he was just this spark that this team needed. Vogelbach is big, big beefy boy. He's hanging out there.
The new big sexy.
Hey man. They're not a bad team. I mean, if Brian Hayes steps it up a little bit, he can be a star. Brian Reynolds has been obviously their best player this season. They don't have a bad team, and pitching is obviously a big thing for them that they don't have. But they're young players. I think they're very underrated, and people just think, oh, the Pirates stink, whatever. Mm-hmm. They have some talent on that team.
They're getting out of the darkest part of a rebuild, which is completely bottoming out and waiting for the talent to come up. So, Clark, I'm going to the AL version of the Pirates a little bit.
God.
And here, that's right.
Baltimore!
Honestly, I respect the pick.
I agree.
Because the Orioles, they're coming out of the dark ages. The prospects are starting to come up. They're on pace right now for 72 wins, which, if they keep that pace, will be 20 games more than last season, which is the most they've had since 2017, which was 75 wins. So for a team to jump that much and the prospects starting to come up, they're coming out of the rebuild. And like you said, Austin Hayes is a great player. Mullins, a little lackluster, but at that point, you have Trey Mancini, who's hitting, probably will be traded, so that sucks. Ryan Mountcastle's playing like an all-star. Adley's figuring it out. Similar to the Pirates, they have young players who are finally getting the call.
Austin Hayes, the newest diamond in MLB The Show.
I will be so upset if he is he really?
No, I'm kidding.
I need to look at that up today. It's 3:14.
I just looked. He's not.
Oh, thank God.
Diaz, though, baby. Yeah.
Who are they? Oh, look.
It was Rodon, Devers, Diaz, and then one more. That wasn't Hayes, but
cool. On the trumpets, baby.
Yeah.
Who's your slept on team, Baloney?
Slept on team?
Yeah. Or overhyped. Pick one if you got both. If you have an answer for both, this was your topic.
Overhyped, I'll say Texas for the contracts that they shelled out.
Yeah.
Not good. Same with Detroit. Detroit's just an embarrassment to baseball, which I'm happy to say because AJ Hinch is going to make.
That's the thing. The Tigers, they were supposed to be like what the Pirates and Orioles kind of are, like a fun young team that's going to compete, and they've fallen extremely flat as a whole.
Yeah. Overrated Tampa.
Yeah,
I think that the Moneyball way
it's finally catching up to him. The Oakland, yeah, you're right. Being cheap is finally catching up to him.
Yeah,
And it's like, the Rays have been great for so long, but they've never won. They've never won. So I just I think they're gonna have to start spending big if they want to win.
Yeah, my pick was Tampa too, but I'll pick something different just to spark something else. I think the Phillies are a little overrated. They can't defend for crap. They just have fun names in Harper and Schwarber and Castellanos. People that hit bombs. That's all they have. It's guys that can hit bombs, and that's about it. I mean, their pitching's good. The pitching is actually very good, but it's just they look good on paper, but when you see it actually play out, it's very overrated, that team.
And that's our baseball podcast. So don't know when we'll be doing another one or what we'll necessarily be doing it on, but when those eventually come out, Clark, what can people do? Do you remember how to do an outro? Because I don't.
Yeah, subscribe on the YouTube, Apple Podcasts, the Spotify. Follow the socials on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at sports.pod. That's sports DEPT pod. I don't know what we got coming up next because we work a lot and it's summer, so we want to do stuff.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, probably a Money in the Bank one next week because we'll do that during the week sometime.
Finally,
probably a post All-Star for MLB, and then maybe some training camp stuff, like some previews for football, but not too crazy in the summer. But we'll get to it. We'll get a few out there here and there.
Maybe NBA free agency if we have time.
Yeah,
if that pocket's
when the Nets go nuclear and implode. I'll actually have to hop on that one just to piss off Jesse.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. That does it. Stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.